here's some lessons that maybe the Cowboys can take from the Super Bowl participants here in Super Bowl 56 that the Rams won 23-20. Some of these are some that really we've discussed, but I just want to hit home, okay, just in case you've missed it, because we do have our loyal bleeders that are here from start to finish. We also have some listeners that might be driving around getting some food. Maybe they're getting off work. Maybe they're just getting a pump at the gym, whatever it might be. They're not able to listen to the whole show. So one of them is be open to all manner of player acquisition. And I think, we've talked about free agency quite a bit, mainly because the Cowboys and Stephen Jones has basically said, we're not going to be players in free agency. We're really about just drafting and developing and holding onto our own guys. And he's blaming the cap, even though there was an excellent tweet, and I quote tweeted it from Nick Corti on Twitter, that showed just how every single team, by moving around and restructuring contracts, can get under the cap. And the Cowboys can free up as much room as they basically need to make whatever free agent signing they would like to sign or do. Now, I don't think they're still going to do it, but just don't let the BS, hey, we don't have any cap space. It's not real, okay? That's it. If you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. And there is no time like the present for them to go all in with a wide open conference for next year, depending on what happens with the quarterback landscape, but also trades. I mean, the one trade that the Cowboys made when they actually gave up a first-round pick for Amari Cooper ended up being a smashing success. And that's the big way that the Rams really built their Super Bowl, was they traded their first-round picks. Now, I love the draft. You love the draft. I'm not all about, hey, trade your picks. But if there's a deal to be made, be active on the trade market. How many times have we seen the Cowboys just, the Melvin Ingram move screams at me this offseason, or this past trade deadline. It's a sixth-round pick to get Melvin Ingram. And at the end of the year, we certainly weren't saying, the Cowboys badly need pass rush help, because the pass rush we thought was a strength heading into the postseason.
It wasn't in the Niners game.
But it ended up not being. They didn't get a single sack, and you can never have enough of those guys.
Right.
So why would you not be open to making a deal like that? The Cowboys just seem like they're very single-minded in it's the draft, and they're not as open to other ways of player acquisition, and I think that is hurting them.
And even the Bengals, who are known for being a cheap team, went and got Trey Hendrickson, which their defense is nowhere. Like, I think it's safe to say they don't make the Super Bowl if it's not for Trey Hendrickson.
Their defense was an underrated story, and the majority of their starters were all free agent acquisitions.
Yeah. I mean, we know about the Cheeto acquisition, and it's like, hey, it's just Cheeto, but it's still somebody that came in there, was a starter for him.
And
that they had to go out there. Yeah, I mean, he
had
did
an interception in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but like even the cheap Bengals went out and made a couple of moves in free agency. And the one thing that does scare me about the success that the Cowboys had with some of their bargain bin free agent shopping this past offseason with guys like Jaron Kearse is they're going to get fooled into thinking, we can do this. And it's like they're just going to completely forget that the offseason before that, when they were doing Aldon Smith and they were doing Dontari Poe and HaHa Dix and stuff like that, how much that, it was just terrible. Like nothing worked of the free agents. And it's like now they're going to be like, oh, well, see, we got Jaron Kearse on the cheap. We did all these, 1 year random cheap deals, veteran minimum, whatever, and it worked for us. And they're going to just foolishly think they can duplicate that. And it's just not something that you can continuously do. Some off seasons you get a bunch of Dontari Poes and HaHa Dixes, and then some off seasons you land a diamond in the rough, holy smokes, Jaron Kearse. But like you can't just make a living doing that.
No. And the 2-1-4 draft after we gave up that first round pick was terrible. That's not the point. The point was you gave up a first round pick for Amari Cooper, who's a proven commodity, and he was a home run for you.
And it didn't. The draft after that didn't have to be terrible.
That's on the Cowboys.
They picked terrible picks, and that's the thing. That happens in the draft sometimes. You're not just going to bat 1,000. You can't just say, "Oh, we're a great drafting team," because you can look back at any single year for the Cowboys, and you can see some good stuff. You can see some bad stuff. And so, like, if you're just saying, hey, all we're going to do is pretty much draft our team and re-sign our draft picks once they get to a second contract, and we're going to bargain bin and go for the, C-level players, veteran minimum type players in free agency, it's not going to get you very far. It's just insane to just completely close off different ways to build your team. It should be obviously a heavy focus in the draft, a heavy focus on retaining your own guys that you drafted and have developed, and not letting them walk out of there. But at the same time, there's other ways to build your team. It's just like it's borderline malpractice, and it's certainly a disservice to the team, the organization, the fans, everybody involved, when you just say, okay, there's drafting, there's trading, and there's free agents, and you're really only using one of those things.
Another emphasis, and we've talked about this throughout the year, is to put your freaks in a position to succeed, right? Whether that is making sure you're getting CeeDee Lamb the ball in whatever way possible. Like he talked about during Super Bowl week, he'd love to be utilized like Deebo Samuel is in the run game if possible at times. Or why are you not giving Amari Cooper more than 4 targets a game, which is what he averaged this year, assuming he's still on your football team?
Well, it's just the stars are what end up winning you games.
Yes.
It's Cooper Kupp. Like, Cooper Kupp was non-existent for a good chunk of that game.
He was getting double-teamed every third down.
On that final drive, where like the biggest drive of the game, what will end up being the biggest drive in Matt Stafford's career, it was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. We're going to hand him the ball on 4th and 1 on some outside kind of play, and we're just going to force feed him the ball because that is our guy. Cincinnati knows he's getting it. Everybody in the building knows he's getting it. Everybody sitting at home on their couch knows he's getting it. And we're going to get Cooper Kupp the ball, and what is that going to result in? A game-winning touchdown.
100%. The other 2 reasons, you have to be able to beat the blitz, which we gave you the numbers during the year on Dak Prescott. He's actually pretty damn good at, but you also have to be able to get home without blitzing. Rams were able to get a ton of pressure. Granted, I understand the Bengals' offensive line was not very good when you have Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, and this is another reason why I don't love the idea of getting rid of Tank, because he's one of those guys that helps you just by rushing 4 when you have Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons. Add to the pass rush. It's very, very important. You've got to be able to get home without blitzing, and anytime you can have a successful pass rush by rushing 4, putting yourself in a great position to succeed.